That's a good one.
The thing here is that people never vote because they say their vote never counts. But like I always tell people, just go and vote. If it didn't count and there's somebody in power, I knew who I voted for. I don't have to tell anybody. So the bottom line that whether he won or he didn't win is nobody's business.
Just
The
support him.
point now is that I have a president. So I have to support the president and I have to support even though I don't know who is from my constituency, but it doesn't matter. Now we need accountability from them.
Now you see it matters because you need to know
So
the person
no,
to
so now
get the person
what? So you
accountable.
see, the thing now is that let us not just sit down and wait for that other citizen to do the work that we can do. So the thing now is that you look for who is your own House of Rep member, who is your senator, and have meetings with them so that you see when you interact with them. Like that's why I like Nigeria. These days, it's not about money. They will whack your money and they'll vote who they want to vote.
Yeah.
Now is that after 4 years, you can't be begging all over the place. People have become wise. Why? The Gen Zs and the millennials have taken over through technology. So now it's not they can take your money, but they'll vote who they want to vote. So now instead of you coming back the next 4 years, there's some politicians who came in. They didn't have to make too much noise. They didn't have to spend too much money
Definitely.
because their work had spoken for them.
Definitely.
So the thing now is that we should make sure that our politicians and us should be accountable for what's happening in our surroundings.
Okay, that's a good way to check them. I don't know what other ways can we ensure that this government is successful as good citizens. I mean, not asking them to do things for us. What can we do for the country, so to speak?
Well, I'm always big on self accountability, honestly. And I think sometimes I overdo it because I don't even hold other people accountable as much. And I think it's always from within. Let's start with ourselves. Are we ever accountable to ourselves? I remember this phrase when I watch a lot of American movies. Don't ask what American can do for you.
What can you do?
What can you do for America? I think this is a slogan we should start to hold in Nigeria because we all seem to want to eat. We all seem to want to take and take and take from Nigeria. We hardly think of giving back. And you see, that's the problem with our programming. I remember as a child, honestly, it was so different. There was much more decency and sense of integrity. Now our leaders are basically rubbing us blind. And we are the people.
Mm-hmm.
We see people, everyday people, could become leaders and they become exactly the people we've been condemning. They're not aliens.
And nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, so we have to hold ourselves accountable. What do we do for Nigeria? And before we even go far, I keep saying it, start from yourself and your home.
Yes.
When you were talking about community, for me, building community starts from myself.
Yeah.
People, raising children who believe in kindness and empathy.
Yes.
Believe me, and I will share this with you. All along, since I've been married for 20 years, anytime I move to a new place, I go and check, I knock on the door of my neighbors and say, hello, my name is Umi, I just moved here, da 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 da. I had always been doing it, but over time it has become difficult. Because now you knock on a door and who you are represents something to the person.
Yes.
And you see people being uncomfortable, like what does she want? Who is she? And I don't blame them because things have changed. So let's raise kids who are kind and who have empathy, who judge people by their hearts, the person's character and not where they worship or how they look. I think for me that's building community. That's building society.